It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show. All over the globe, they been knowing me. Flow potent like coca leaves. In 2012, I signed my first record deal. It was overseas. Lost money, made it all back, charging no interest. Put music in some movies. Shout out the Gravitas Ventures. My pen is well renowned, serving sounds like a waitress. Straight shots never chased it. These rappers be too complacent, like the underground hove. My blueprint got them tracing. My classroom broadcast Zoom for dissertations. More product than Trader Joe's and Kroger. My joints banging like I'm KG in Minnesota. I move with a different quota. Radio shows and Cali fans in the valley. I'm a East Coast GMC like the Denali. I lost the sauce, but the people found me. They tried to play me, I know they yagging like Robert Downey. 4-finger ring with a foreign beauty like cars from Audi. I got the block beat, still producing when they ain't checking for me like Shock G.
You know my voice, know my face and sound. Rep my city, but I'll hardly be in town. Homie, I get around, I get around, I get around, I get around. Yeah, they love my songs, love my soul, love my style. You won't hear my name for a while. Homie, I get around, I get around, I get around, I get around.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. If you like that intro, that song is called I Get Around by Hickman LA. Shout out to my guy, The West Kept Secret, featuring myself, J Nolan. All right? So, man. I knew this day would come. I knew this day would come. So we got the DJ that don't spin out here talking a little greasy today. And this time around, he's taking aim at J Malone glasses. Top of the year, I told you, man, this nigga, you was giving him passes. You know, all due respect. I always speak of your name with respect. You grant that. You know what I'm saying? But I said it at the top of the year. He was getting that Aiden Ross, all his homies in that community, Drake adjacent, right wing, incel, red pill motherfuckers. I said you skipping around the DJ that don't spin. Here we are in August. The DJ that don't spin said, let me go ahead and spin this. Because he tired of J Malone talking about Drake, saying Drake's not hip hop. You know what I'm saying? He's tired of the West Coast guys going on their podcasts or their shows, having a voice to counter some of the bullshit that's getting put out here as it pertains to this ongoing Kendrick Lamar Drake conversation. So now he trying to hold his nuts on J Malone. This nigga came out his face and said that he's done more for hip hop than Glasses Malone. And the crazy thing is, for internet brain ass niggas, for brain dead ass niggas, or people who just can't get enough of Drake's man milk, they're gonna agree with him. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna say, yeah, Akademiks, he's done more for hip hop. His streaming, he's been influential. There's people out here that are imitating him, trying to be like him. He was on the Iceman stream. He got a OVO chain. Yes, he's done more for hip hop than J Malone. A man who actually partakes in the essence of hip hop. J Malone could tell you where hip hop started. He has his own philosophy on hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Street urban culture, its origin. He's well versed in hip hop knowledge, history, where it started, where it's been, an outlook of where it could go. A man that dedicated his time outside of, once he became an artist, we'll just say that. You know what I mean? To respect the craft of hip hop, to want to be a part of hip hop, to put out music, sign a record deal, multiple record deals, to be, you know, trusted within different camps in hip hop. That's even before we get to the Kendrick Lamar of it all. You know what I'm saying? Of being a trusted friend, confidant, mentor with Kendrick. We're not even talking about that. We're just talking about G Malone as who he was before. And then getting to Kendrick shouting him out on multiple songs. I'm sure a lot of people over the years were like me, wondering why Kendrick continued to shout him out as much. Because I didn't know how deep their connection was. I knew that they had a connection, but I didn't know how deep it was. You know what I'm saying? To now having this clown say, well, I've done more for hip hop than you ever will. It's just not how it works. You've done more for gossip. You've done more for, let's say, even commentary. You've done more for internet influencers. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to act like dude ain't have no impact, but you ain't impacted hip hop. You've impacted the way hip hop artists interact with independent so-called media. I'll give you that. But we're not going to be stupid. But again, he's grabbing his nuts now. So let me go ahead and pull these videos up so we can hear how homeboy is out here talking. So here it says, the DJ that don't spin claims he doesn't defend Drake and that there's a bigger play at hand attacking shared identity. So now he's claiming he doesn't defend Drake, when Drake literally gave you the clanky owl chain for not switching up on him and defending him for the last few years. Make it make sense. Anyway, let's get to it.
I did want to play a few things that was percolating in the air, right? Now, before I do this, I just want to remind y'all, and I know some people are gonna accuse me. This is not a thing for me to defend Drake. Please, just grow up a little bit bigger than that too. For the people who do like Drake in here, I've said this on my gambling stream, I'll say it again. I know some people like, yo, Ak, you don't have to really defend every point that might have to do with Drake. And I do want to let you know that there's a bigger thing here at play. And every time I say that, I think I'm either manic or some other shit, or maybe that's just Charlemagne. But there's a bigger thing at play. Here's the thing at play. The people that don't like Drake for him doing a 20v1, they don't like Akademiks for doing media. Why? They use the same thing. Man, that nigga corny. He never got used to get bitches. Yo, they say the same. So there is no way. There's some people that be like, man, you could let him get fried for that. They don't like you either. Remember that. They're gonna be like, man, Drake fans are soft. Man, they don't like a group of people because their mindset of how they view hip hop is one way. They're not malleable. Right? I watched Glasses Malone do a whole interview with Bootleg Kevin. He literally said, what Drake does is not called hip hop. He's gatekeeping. He thinks he owns it. It's like how Tariq Nasheed kind of acts like he owns blackness. Oh, it's FBA.
Since when has Glasses Malone ever explicitly claimed singular ownership of hip hop? I've never seen it. He's speaking from the perspective of somebody who is actually hip hop, though. You know what I'm saying? And just because you like rap music, it don't make you hip hop. The old heads been telling us this for decades. We wrote off the old heads as haters. They didn't want to see niggas cement new ground. And some of the critique on the old heads was legitimate. But they very loudly and proudly said, just because you engage with with rap music does not mean you are inherently hip hop, or that you represent hip hop, or that you are dealing with hip hop in the rap music that you choose. So when I hear Glasses Malone say Drake is not hip hop, it's not a new thing for me because there's so many other people, a long line of people who have echoed that sentiment when the conversation wasn't even about Drake. But people can't accept it because they think we here now, we're engaging with rap music, therefore we can redefine what hip hop is. That's not how it works, nigga.
It's like, no, what Drake does is not hip hop. And he's like desperately gripping onto this thing, trying to be like, Drake is not hip hop. And it's kind of like pathetic. Have you seen it? I'll play it. Here we go. Bootleg Kev, Glasses Malone. So for the people who be like, why do you also defend Drake? You got to realize, if you're a Drake fan or you understand the plight of Drake or whatever, a lot of times there's some shared identity here, people. It's not that they don't like Drake because Drake is doing fuck shit. They don't like you. Right?
Yeah.
A guy like this with the bucket hat, the camo bucket hat from goddamn, like, I don't know, from California, who bangs Crip. He feels he owns more of hip-hop culture than you, or say me.
What was the dig on the bucket hat? What was the dig on the bucket hat? Like, damn, did the bucket hat really hurt your spirit? What was that?
Who I put in, like, fuck what he's done. Glasses ain't got no impact on hip. Nigga, if in the last 15 years, what I've changed with mainstream hip hop, I don't give a fuck about Glasses, his entire life, my nigga. I've done more. That's a fact. I've had way more impact on where the mainstream of hip hop is going. But for him, he owns hip hop. So he's like, Ak is just a guy. He's just a guy. You listen to this guy, he makes you feel like nothing. But that's him grasping at straws, trying to have some type of, relevance and him trying to make people feel like he could define what hip hop is, but it's always going to be narrowly in a way where what you do is not what he does. Because if he compares himself to you, at some point you got to put points up on the board. You know what Drake said back then in a
And I think it's very interesting that he says that Glasses Malone is out here fighting for relevance. I don't know that to be true. As somebody who saw I wouldn't even want to call it the resurgence of Glasses Malone, but it's kind of like, it's the word that comes to mind in this moment. As somebody who's seen, G putting out music videos, et cetera, to after the battle, he was one of the only people that was close to Kendrick that was available in the public to speak, right? So people started interviewing him about his perspective of the battle. People wanted to get him on spaces. People wanted to do different things like that. And eventually, I'm sure at some point, he's like, I'm not going to keep going on everybody else's platform, turning them up. I might as well just share my perspective for myself. You know what I'm saying? Make it equitable for me. I'm not going to keep going on everybody else's, going on everybody else's mic when I can set up my own mic in my crib or wherever I go. And it's just that simple. It's not about relevance. It's about people clearly want to hear what I have to say. So let me facilitate that in a way that is convenient for me. You know what I'm saying? So, but when you deal with people who only engage with, as he says, mainstream hip hop or rap music or numbers, things of that nature, they can't digest that somebody is just offering something. You know what I mean? It's a difference between offering something, selling something, and selling ass. You know what I'm saying? It's very different things. But somebody who doesn't understand integrity, man shit, they look at it all through the same lens, and it's like, hey, selling ass is regular. Whoever can sell the most ass is the winner. Fuck what you talking about. If I'm making more money, getting more views, even if I gotta sell ass, I'm walking away the biggest one. That's his perspective, right? And it's a variation of how Drake views it as well. So when he talks about shared identity, that's what he's saying. He's putting that call out to the fans who like Drake that are saying, hey, you might be a Drake fan, but you might empathize or you might agree with G Malone in some instances, but you shouldn't because he don't like you either. You shouldn't listen to him because he don't like you either. We're in this together. We're all corny, unpopular niggas from back in the days that was able to get a couple of dollars. However we did it, even selling ass included. And we rocking with Drake. Right? So that's his thing. Some people may feel uncomfortable with me repeatedly saying selling ass. I don't care because it's driving my point home.
A very powerful, I think it was a Grammy speech, right? He said hip hop is like a pointless sport. Or no, not pointless, but he says it's something sport, meaning that there isn't actual, people don't go off the actual numbers. People go off these other things. And when that becomes the case, you get people like Glasses who has zero numbers and accomplishments to put up, has zero things to be like, these are tangible things we should talk about. He could use this, well, I'm from the culture. I'm a Crip. I do this. I do that. I got this nigga killed. I like rapped about this.
So now he gets to sarcastically play with the Crips, right? But Drake is out here twisting fingers talking about me and my niggas, we are not musicians. Drake gets on Family Matters talking about I'm more connected in Compton than you, because I be with them blood niggas. I'm more respected by Pyros than you. Right? Y'all know I'm not here to talk about none of that shit deeply. But now he gets to say this shit sarcastically to go against Glasses, but your idol respects that shit that they come from, which is why he tried to use it as an angle in his battle against Kendrick unsuccessfully. All right, man. Now you downplaying the Crips, but the whole thing with the GGs and all them out in Toronto when Top 5 was out here trying to put, you know, a hit on niggas and shit like that, or I'm gonna do this to Kendrick if I ever see him and all this shit. Y'all was cool with that. But now G Malone and his affiliation is less than. I bet.
I wrote on this song. That's his contribution. And when you're like, well, I pushed the biggest records in the world. I helped make this person a superstar. I helped change this city and help this city become one of the biggest cities in hip hop. None of that matters because he's a Crip. Because he just uses something that's it's just. He just uses some random stat or some random value. Anyway.
All right, and that's only one of the clips. I'm gonna pull the next one up, and I know people in the chat like cut him off. I hate seeing him. Nah, you gonna endure this shit just like I do. Fuck out of here. So now there's another clip circulating that says the DJ that don't spin goes off on Glasses Malone eyeball emoji. So I think he's finna turn up a little bit in this one.
Wouldn't be the top rapper if you listen to them, and I wouldn't be the top nigga in media if I listen to them. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and you guys just keep following.
Yeah, it's an opinion-based show for sure.
Yes, and I think the confusion is people think they conflate it with somebody giving just, like a news. It's not news.
It is news. So if I break down, and this is the Glasses Malone, and you can react to this on whatever you react to this on. So if I go back into, YG, because, you're all West Coast, let's throw up the Bloods, whatever, who gives a fuck? So if I go into the deposition of Drakeo the Ruler's bodyguard, who did a deposition in a civil case, And I use that to juxtapose to a ongoing criminal trial. And I show similarities, and I show where maybe even the cops haven't even like done their due diligence, but I show the inconsistencies. Is that not journalism, or is that my opinion? That's not my fucking opinion, my nigga. That's journalism. Now, my opinion might be
The same guy who comes out here and says conveniently when it's convenient to him, he's not a journalist. Right? I'm not a journalist. I just come on here and share my opinion. I just talk about what's popping. I talk about what's hot. But now his feet in those coals of the opinion game done got hot. So now it's journalism. Now he's pointing out the due diligence of where the cops didn't do their job. It's journalism. Okay.
man, YG ain't even kill a nigga. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. But if I use what's out there and I'm putting together things to create a news story, that's the definition of journalism, my guy. And I wish you would know that, but I'm telling y'all, you know, y'all niggas is gangbangers who this is like y'all ninth hustle. Like y'all try to sell weed. Nope. Y'all try to be a hitman, try to kill niggas. Nope. Y'all try to like, you know, rob niggas. Nope. Y'all try to kick doors in. Nope. This is y'all ninth hustle. I don't expect y'all to get it. Like, I'm sorry. I don't care how smart Glasses Malone, your first hustle in life was being a gangbanger. That's like me saying my best, like, you know what my first hustle was? Going to college. Your first hustle was being a criminal. I'm sorry to say, I don't care what you think you say you're smart. That's not the wave, brother. You finally have gone back over here. Okay, finally you got back into some legal activities, but we're not listening to you thinking that you're like above. You're not. Fuck are you talking about? You think I'm listening to a gang? Yo, your first hustle was getting your ass beat by a bunch of other niggas with blue rags, beat to a bloody pulp, stomped out, elbow dropped, all type of shit. Probably dislocated your jaw that you could just throw up a sign in the hood, rob niggas, steal from your own community, sell drugs, peddle bullshit. And now that after maybe 40 years of you being unsuccessful, because none of that has gotten you anywhere, I'm supposed to listen to you because now you're bringing your mentality to.
And this is the same guy who on other streams, when it comes to other rappers, when it comes to other beefs, when it comes to other conversations in the so-called hip-hop space, he'll analyze who has more street cred, who's out here spanking niggas, who's doing this or that, right? But now you talking to somebody who actually comes from that cloth and you say, I don't care how intelligent you are, because you come from this background, I'm not listening to you. But G Malone has understanding of both sides of being legit. G Malone been legit a long time versus coming from the turf and what that looks like. And if you're talking about YG and who killed Draco the Ruler, that's more deeply ingrained into his background than yours, especially in his backyard with people in his community that he actually comes from, knows, has relationships with, probably done shook hands, been in all type of situations that haven't been disclosed publicly. But you think you could speak on this shit with authority from New Jersey, not traveling out there, not, you know what I'm saying? Which is why I seen G Malone the other day when he was talking to Flacco. He even gave Flacco a little bit of flack. I mean, not flack, but he gave him some like wiggle room because he's like, at least you traveled out here and at least you know some niggas. Like, at least you put yourself in situations to meet people from here rather than just commentating from afar. You know what I'm saying? There's certain shit that I won't touch when it comes to West Coast politics. And if I do, I'm going to be very black and white with it. You know what I'm saying? Because again, we're talking about real people. Whether we respect their background, whether we agree with their background, whether we can identify with their background is totally different. But some people ain't gonna appreciate how you speak on it. So I try to keep it clean if I do. But to act like you know their affair is better than them is crazy. And then to discredit this nigga the way you doing, hey, and crazy thing is, in the video, I know one of the videos that were clipped from the Bootleg Kev conversation with Glasses was that he explicitly said, I'm not going to fight with Akademiks. I'm actually saying your name. You know what I'm saying? And then you turn around and be like, okay, cool. Let me hold my nuts on this nigga. That is not the wave.
Actual podcast and music business? Nigga, please. A criminal can't tell me nothing. A gangbanger, I'm sorry. I got 3 Rutgers degrees that sit up on a fucking mantle that would tell me if you listen to a gangbanger who his whole college experience was getting his ass beat, I'm not rocking. Sorry. Oh, you're smart? If that was the smartest thing you could have figured out in life at that point, I'm sorry. I think we're a little bit different.
You're very different.
Yeah, I grew up in Jamaica, immigrated over here. And you know what? When I was 18, I didn't say, let me go get stomped out by the Crips up in Inglewood, New Jersey. That's the way to get, that's your path. So please, when we start talking about intelligence and shit like that.
Right, but you the same nigga that was in your 30s that said if she's 17, you going. Let's not talk about intelligence. Let's not talk about maturity. Let's not talk about making great decisions in life. You same nigga that sat on a stream with a 14-year-old boy asking him about his interest in other grown men sexually. Let's not forget about that. Let's not forget about the girl that was sexually assaulted that was supposed to be your girlfriend in your home that you still have an active case about today. Let's not make it seem like you just Captain Nerdathon, all right? Like you just Mr. Squeaky Clean over there because you went to college, Asher Roth. Cut that shit out.
The gangbangers who finally learned that the streets, like, y'all are all new to podcasting. I'm 15 years in. Y'all are new. Y'all are like 3 years in. Oh, yeah, we should stop, like, throwing up the red rags and the blue rags, and we should just start using the microphones, not the guns. I'm glad you're done being dumb.
So, yeah, man. I'm only covering this because I knew this day would come. And when I said what I was saying at the top of the year, I had a lot of motherfuckers in my chat, a lot of motherfuckers in my comments that was saying, hey, stop trying to get J Malone to say what you think he should say. I wasn't trying to tell J Malone what he should say. I was just saying, if you see this in them and can't see it in him, why not? Why is that? You know what I'm saying? Why? And it was based on, well, at least he's black. At least he come from black. Skin folk ain't kinfolk. Not all of them. And I called it early. Now he going bad on you. And again, I'm not trying to like, oh, what you gonna do, G? That ain't me. That ain't my vibe. I'm just saying, should have seen that nigga for who he was when he was already showing you. You know what I'm saying? Now he feel like he could show his ass because you let him be. That's all. But it is what it is. It ain't got shit to do with me. We just talking about it. Okay? Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Peace. Family over fame in this bitch, yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'm never politicking, the drama be piling on. Father and great son acknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5 sit bank accounts, every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please. I can do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I turn your birthday party into New Year's Eve. Don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair. This the ATL, Southside nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your healthcare. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? Well, let me tell you about this world I built. The women I dodged, the niggas that I read for filth. The sympathy cause consulting for the stacks I built.